And we're back here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. How are you out there? Thanks for joining us here on the Pop Culture Cosmos show and also the PCC Multiverse. Check out both shows on the Podcast Radio Network, the ESO Network, the Tangent Bound Network, the Gunna Geek Network, and of course, you can always download us at iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Mixcloud, and podcast.com. So we've got a great interview coming up for you right now. A couple guys that was, we're just so happy to have finally on the air after interacting for the past few weeks or so as far as timing issues are concerned. But everybody knows about the hit series in the movies, The Hunger Games, and the books that obviously created to them, and knows exactly the storyline as far as Jennifer Lawrence's character is concerned. But it's created almost a great offshoot now that movie series is finally done and over with. So I have a couple guys here today who are now in charge of the production of one of the probably one of the most interesting and obviously the most pop culture centric productions that are out there. They are David Stolworthy and Jared Pixler. They're the guys from MB Productions, and they are in charge of Video Games, the Play. All right. It's now going to be playing, I guess, from what I'm understanding, in New York and also Los Angeles on a regular basis. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, first off, thanks, guys, for coming on the show. We truly appreciate it. And before we get into particulars about the show itself, want to make sure, when we'll touch on this again for people at the end of the interviews, where can they go to find out how to get tickets, and also exactly where is the show first playing off at? Jared, go with you on that.
Jared, so you can go to thevideogamesplay.com for all the information about the show, both in Los Angeles and New York. You can also check out our Facebook.com/thevideogames, M as in Michael, B as in boy, MB. You can also follow us on Twitter at thevideogamesMB. The shows are playing in Los Angeles at the Complex Theaters month, the third Friday at 11 p.m. And in New York, we're playing monthly shows, typically on Saturday nights at 7 p.m., the third Saturday of the month, but that sometimes can change. So check out thevideogamesplay.com for all of the actual upcoming show dates.
And the New York show is performing at the Electra Theater,
which is on 43rd and 8th Avenue, right a block from Times Square.
That's awesome. Oh, block from Times Square, right there. All right. Well, how much better can it get for an amazing off-Broadway show? Now, I've had a chance to check out a lot of the footage that you guys have online as far as from thevideogamesplay.com. David, I wanted to ask you real quick, as if you were to meet somebody out on the street and you just told them about Video Games to Play, how would you describe it to someone to get them interested in going and grabbing a ticket for Video Games the Play?
And first, I would tell them that the show changes every single performance. No two shows are exactly alike. We've never had the same two people in the top two ever in the same kind of storyline that they have performed in. There's combat left and right. There's a bunch of blood and gore effects that you can come and watch your favorite video of Mortal Kombat, Super Smash Bros., all those different kind of styles of fighting, different kind of weapon use. We've got whips, we've got stabs, we've got Peach's frying pan, and even her booty bump is in there. So it's, one person described it as a nerdgasm, and that's a pretty accurate way to describe the show.
Definitely, indeed, because it looked like it when I was watching all the YouTube highlights and whatnot. And Jared, I want to ask you, so it does essentially recreate the concept of the Hunger Games, and as far as using well-known video game characters, but how did you guys come up with the actual scenario for video games to play, and how does it interact that you could have so many diverse endings, you know, as far as the competition is concerned, and how much differentiation does it get as far as when somebody watches it maybe from a Monday and let's say to a Friday is concerned?
I'll start with the concept and how where that came from. So growing up, I read a lot of books that were called choose your own adventure books, where like literally you read the book and it was like, if you want your character to go left on the road, turn to page 87. If you want to go right, turn to page 92. And David and I thought, hey, that works that way, where the audience gets to pick like, hey, this is what we want to do as a collective. And then taking that Hunger Games kind of concept where the members of the Capitol could send favors or gifts to their favorite contestants. We kind of took that and ran with that. As far as creating the world of the show, I have a performance background from Disney. And so I took that concept of like walking in to an environment and being in somewhere. And that's kind of how we model the show. As soon as you walk in, the actors, the video game characters are talking to you like you're a citizen of what we call the console instead of the Capitol in our show, and getting you involved in the story and trying to immerse you in it, and just talking to you. They have no idea that they're going to be contestants in it. Part of the fun part. Now, how we came up with the show, one night, David and I were walking in Venice Beach when I lived in Venice, and we're just talking about the shows that we had just finished the year before and the kind of shows we've written. And we talked about our favorite things. We're like, you know, I love video games. Like, I grew up playing Final Fantasy a lot and Legend of Zelda, and David was huge on Legend of Zelda and Pokemon, and playing Halo myself and Call of Duty and Mass Effect. And we were like, you know, there should be a video games play. And they're like, you know what? What if we put those two together and a giant margarita each about the size of your head later?
There it is.
There we go.
I was waiting for you.
With just a little bit of tequila and a margarita mix, maybe drinks each. We were like, let's do this show called The Video Games. We'll call it The Video Games, and it'll work this way. And that's kind of where everything began, and that was back in 2014.
Oh, that's great, and look where it's gone to today. As far as, you know, like I said, shows in New York and Los Angeles. So if you are there in those cities, or you want to find out more information on how to get tickets to both shows, just check them out at thevideogamesplay.com. Now, David, when we're talking about the video games, as far as the production is concerned, tell me some of the difficulties in putting such a show together. What are some of the challenges that you guys have faced as in regards to putting it all together to make it one complete production?
One thing that is very challenging for both the director and choreographer, but as well as the entire cast, is that everyone needs to be trained as a swing, because you don't know path the story is going to go, and things will drop at things will change at the drop of a hat. Like literally a matter of like 5 seconds, we will go, okay, this is what's going on, go. And they have to go out and they have to do that. They have had to learn over, 15 different fight sequences and numerous scenes. Every single actor knows the script backward and forward for multiple roles. It's a very demanding role for those actors, and for us as well. For one, the rehearsal schedule can be very daunting, making sure that you hit absolutely everything, because we've got 12 monologues, we've got 12 scenes. Oh my gosh, and having to just run it over and over and over to give these people practice and to give ourselves kind of like more time to like clean it and even polish it, because it's always constantly changing, as video games are, where we need to update and throw even more fun references in there and keep the story moving along and adapting. it's just, yeah, making sure that you cover absolutely everything them time to practice, because there's no way you can do all the different scenarios.
Of course.
People can die at any point. People can live at any point. People can fall in love at a certain point, and you never know. And that's probably the hardest thing, but also the most rewarding thing, because now we can look at other projects that we're working on and be like, you know what? We've already taken down this gigantic, monstrous beast. Everything else just seems like, all right, yeah, that's a speed bump. We're okay. It's not that intimidating anymore.
Well, this is going to serve you for later productions down the line, as far as if, you know, obviously the video games, the production here is going to be a big hit, but later on you're saying that this is going to help you as far as experience down the line dealing with productions that are going to be varied like this in nature, because you said there's so many different ways that the production can end to the audience. There's so many ways that along the way it can change and evolve. So that's definitely, for something that is just seems already on the surface to be just an outstanding experience, because of you know, as an audience member, you have no idea what to expect. Jared, when you're talking the video games to play, what is the best thing that stands out to you in regards to, you know, the video games to play is concerned?
The best thing, great moments in the show that can happen. I think the best thing is hearing the people that have seen the show and come up to us and go, the show was completely different this time. I love hearing people going, the show was completely different. Or even our stage managers or tech people who usually get really bored with the show after it's been running for, you know, a week or two. We had a stage manager in New York, Erin Cohen, who was our venue manager at New York International Fringe Festival, and then she was our stage manager for Off-Broadway initially, and she said, I never get bored of the show because it changes all the time. It keeps them on their toes. Just the fact that it has replayability, and you can unlock those little hidden secrets the second time you play it around, maybe increase the difficulty a little bit as we have.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those, it's kind of like a Chrono Trigger. If anyone is a big fan of Chrono Trigger or has done the playthroughs with all the different endings, like that's the show it is to the game world, and that's what I love about it. It's just so different every time.
Oh, that's great indeed. I love the analogy and using a Chrono Trigger as a comparison, because yes, it can always have that different ending indeed, as far as along when you play it, you know, each and every time. Such a classic to get into, and like I said, I just love that comparison. So David, again, for everybody out there who wants to know more about video games to play, where do they go to? How can they find it? How can they get tickets? And more important, and also just as important, will the video games to play be branching out to other cities behind New York and LA anytime soon?
All right, so you can get your tickets at thevideogamesplay.com. We have Los Angeles show that's running at the complex the third Friday of every month at 11 o'clock p.m. We do sell alcohol, so that's a plus. And then we've got every third Saturday, normally, the dates do sometimes change, at 7 p.m. in New York at the Electra Theater just off Broadway on 42nd. 43rd Street. It's between 7th and 8th. There we are. And they have designed after certain characters there. Drinking at this show, it's fantastic. Like, get blasted on a Mega Buster and just watch Princess Peach wail on Master Chief. It's a great fun.
And it apparently makes for a much better experience as well.
Yeah, we love it when the audience is rowdy. We absolutely adore it. We're hoping that we can branch it out to some other areas. Hopefully we could possibly get like a national tour. We are bringing it back to the Hollywood Fringe Festival 2017, kind of because we started there. Those were our roots when we first went in 2015. We're bringing it back more updated than ever before. It's the off-Broadway show. Come back to the theater community and say thank you so much for all of your support, Hollywood Fringe. Here's what you have helped us create. Thank you so much. So we're going to have even more show dates in June. at the Hollywood Fringe Festival.
Awesome. So they just need to keep in touch with the videogamesplay.com to stay in touch with everything that you guys are doing. Indeed. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And they can also check out our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/the video games is in boy, or follow us on Twitter at the video games MB.
And Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're on Instagram too.
All right, sweet. So everybody wants to check that out. You take a look at that. Indeed. I'm going to tell you right now, Jared and David, it's been a great pleasure having you on Pop Culture Cosmos and also the PCC Multiverse. We're going to see if we can throw both segments in there for you as far as and on both shows because you know this is going to be something that people need to know about. Indeed, if they haven't already, and those that have, I'm sure are long. The list is long indeed of people that are just throwing so much admiration for the show that you guys have created. And I just want to tell you thank you for taking the time to sit down with me as far as and tell everyone out there the greatness of the video games play as far as the video games production.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having us.
Oh, indeed. And you guys are always welcome back. I want, if at all possible, you guys to come back on the show so you can give people updates on how the show is progressing. And if, like you said, a possible tour will come to fruition indeed. So everyone check that out. Indeed, it is Video Games to Play. You can find more information today at thevideogamesplay.com. Also check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter as well. They I've been checking out their social media sites, and they constantly check, as far as give people new information on what they're doing, what's up, what's going on with it, play and information updates. So there's no reason not to check out all of their social media, and no reason if you are in the New York and Los Angeles area, or if you're heading there anytime soon, to check it out entirely and grab tickets today. Guys, it's been a pleasure indeed. Want to thank you. And any last words before we head on out?
Long live the console.
Yeah.
Long live the console, indeed. So again, that's David Stolworthy and Jared Pixler from Video Games to Play. The guys, it's been a great pleasure having you on. We appreciate you being part of the Pop Culture Cosmos.